Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of DBC. I'm Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace. Joining me today,
Tommy Baldwin, competition director of Rick Ware Racing / crew chief of the 51 Cody Ware car last night.
Chief this week.
Got thrown into the mix because my crew chief got thrown out on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was. But
what were you doing to do that? I mean, can we discuss that on here? Or is it still in the appeals process?
No appeal. No appeal. We have one other crew chief got thrown out, and he was our crew chief last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lawson.
So, yeah. So we got, Lawsoned, I'm going to say.
Karsyn Elledge, a little bit of everything at the car store, I guess we'll just say for now.
No title.
No
Yeah,
title.
just rocking no title.
I'm glad you got back last night. We were concerned that you weren't going to be able to make it.
I almost didn't have wings. My family played a really sick joke on me.
They told Karsyn she was going to have to drive back in the bus
Yeah.
with LW.
I'm like, all of a sudden I went to having 2 plane option rides to 0 in a motorhome. I'm like, cool.
And she's texting us during the race while he's spotting.
Yeah, they were
I'm
busy.
crew chiefing.
Well,
Anyway, joining me today, my driver from last night that we're probably not going to speak to each other the rest of the week, Bubba Wallace. Hi, Bub.
or now.
Hello.
Hey, for one, I'm sure he's tired of my voice, and then the end of the race is another reason we're
Less
probably
than ideal. Less than ideal.
Not perfect. I mean, let's just jump into the 500, I guess.
There's not really. It was pretty uneventful, don't you think?
Well, it was for three quarters of it.
It was.
And then it just turned into a complete show at the end, like it always does. For us, I thought, we put ourselves exactly where we wanted to be with 35 to go, 30 to go. And then I pretty much just it up from there. I talked about it with Bubba last night. So much goes into this preparing. We watch videos, we have meetings after meetings after meetings, and you go back and watch all these races and see trends of what you think works and what you don't think is going to work. And, going back, you always know that the Penske cars are going to be the guys to beat. That's what we talked about for years. And when we were trying to become better plate racers, we got to be more like these guys. They control the race, they do everything, and that's how we won Talladega, was covering the Penske cars when they got together. They pushed us to the lead, and it started raining, obviously. And that was the big mistake I think I made last night. We got clear of the Penske cars on the bottom, and I felt like I should have covered it, and I didn't, just because of. And by cover, it means I tell Bubba to pull down in front of them and just stay with them. I didn't, because we won the duel from the middle lane. And I was like, I think the middle lane's going to be fine. It's two Hendrick cars up there. And it wasn't. And then I covered the top lane when I shouldn't have covered the top lane, and kind of hung some of our Toyota teammates. So it's just a series of mistakes at the end by myself. But how was the race for you? I mean, I'm sure you agree with that.
Well, obviously, you just explained to him.
Yeah.
Explained to him.
No, I think that was, all valid points of covering the middle. I mean, everybody was fighting for the middle early in the race just to get there. And I think if we would have stayed middle instead of covering the top, I think that would have probably been better. Because I didn't realize we were so fixated on the 24 and the 9 there at the end that the 42 and the 45 were in the middle. And I didn't know until they covered me that was them. And so who knows? I just think the pace was too quick at that point for us to try to fight off the top, and we just kind of fell back too. So.
It's again, like going into it, we know, like we've done this for like we hosed ourselves a couple years ago, I think at Talladega, trying to get the top going, and the middle killed us. And all day, even on Thursday, going back to Thursday, I was like the third lane forms with Justin and the guys that are trying to make the race pushing the top. And I'm like, I'm not worried about them. And here they come all of a sudden. Now they're making up ground. So that was also in my mind. Like, I'm like, because you want to be, the only way you're going to win that race is leading a lane. You got to be leading a lane. So I was like, the last thing I want is to cover this middle, which I didn't know. When the top moved up, I was fixated on the 9 and the 24 together. And I saw the 42 in the middle, and it's always, in my opinion, like even Xfinity truck, whatever, you go with stronger cars. When I didn't realize Tyler, because they're coming straight at me off of 4 when we made the move to the top, I didn't realize it was Tyler tucked in behind the 42. So I saw the 42, and I saw 2 Hendrick cars, and I'm like, I'm going to go with these Hendrick cars because they're always strong. And then when we got down in front of me, I'm like, oh, that's Tyler in the middle. And I still at that point thought, we're not dead. We can maybe push the 24, just push us back in front of the 42, and if that was ever going to happen, we would just get back down. But it just never did. And then we just both those middle and top lines just killed each other, and then it just let that bottom line drive away, which I should have known was going to happen after the duel. That like once that middle and top lanes kind of split, they're just going to drag each other back, and the bottom's going to take off. And I think, but it's unfortunate. I thought we had a great weekend. Obviously, won the duel. But Tommy, how was the end of your? I know you guys played it out pretty well and similar results.
Yeah, I mean, everything went according to plan. Corey with the 0-1 was fast all day. Ran up front all day, and then at the end of the stages, he would play it safe and go back because we weren't fighting for points or anything because that's an open car. We're only running 8 races with that car, so there's no reason to do that. He knew he had a fast enough car he could get back up there, which he did after each stage when it went back green. Yeah, he was in good position. It's where you want to be, right? The first 3 rows coming to the checker, right? And unfortunately, got tagged, just touched. I mean, it didn't even put a dent on the car, and he got spun out there and got flats and couldn't drive it back to the start-finish line. And the 51 car, we played the other strategy. We just sat in the back of the lead group the whole race until the end. We waited for a couple wrecks to happen, got ourselves in position, and I think at the video before we wrecked, we were sitting 9th on the bottom because we wanted him to paint the line. I don't care what happens, just paint the line and see where we end up. And just got clipped by the 54. He bounced off the wall and just made a severe left and just clipped us and destroyed it for the second time of the week. But we showed speed. I'm proud of all the guys. That 01 group is all shop guys. Most of them never been to the track before, so it was good for them to experience that, and they can bring back obviously some good information to the other guys at the shop, the other 4 guys that were left at the shop, to make everything better. So yeah, it was a good week.
Karsyn, how was it on the Earnhardt side of things? It was a pretty big week for Dale and Kelly and everybody at JRM.
It was exciting. I mean, I obviously didn't have a whole lot to do with it except just being there to
you
cheer them on.
You weren't out there tuning wrenches?
I was there. I wasn't putting fuel in the car and putting tires on it, as the people that chewed me up on Twitter said. But it was just cool.
Get used to that.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten into, I guess, by doing this show. But no, it was cool. It's always cool to see that side of Dale, right? You know, you don't always get to see how emotional he gets about things or any things that do make him emotional. So it was just cool to watch him and my mom do that and get to experience it all. And meeting Chris Stapleton was cool too, I guess. But and Justin's a good dude, right? I mean, if anybody could drive that car, I would hope it would be Justin. It's just an all around feel good weekend. Yeah,
I was kind of pissed at Dale because we went and won that duel, and only thing I saw after the duel was Dale. I was like, congrats, Dale.
Yeah, sorry.
Bubba Wallace wins duel 1. Dale Jr.'s on
That's it.
Solid. All right.
How about the rest of the races of the weekend? I know Jesse Love, one of our favorite guests on here, won those RCR cars in the Xfinity Series. They can do.
I've never seen a lap.
It's like the Penske cars.
Dude, they can do whatever they want. They just pull out a line whenever they want, go around everybody, and just pull down, clear a guy, go back up. There was whatever lane they got in front of, that line just took off. And then unfortunately, I don't know what broke on the 21, but I think he was obviously the best car and probably was going to win his 19th Xfinity race in a row at Daytona.
Yeah.
And then they broke, and then obviously Jesse was left alone there, but he got the job done. He was incredibly fast, just like the 21 car. And it's funny because you talk about like preparing, and it's like these guys almost, like I said, they also can do whatever they want, but it's people like kind of let it happen. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's us. Like if we're racing to 21 and he's so strong, we're like, we got to keep this guy bottled up, because if you let him get to the lead, he's just impossible to get around. And we, that's what back when I was with Chandler a couple years ago, that was like one of the emphasis we did. Like, we have to keep the 21 behind us. Like, you got to keep this guy in line, and you got to control him, because if you let him get away, you're never going to see him again. And for whatever reason, they just kind of continue to let it happen.
Well, it looked like you were still with Chandler in that duel.
Keep coming down. That was the easiest wreck to call in the history of wrecks.
I even seen it.
I'm like, he's just going to keep coming down. All right, now they're wrecking. Here they go. Yeah. JJ, I don't know what JJ was doing. Poor JJ's outside of us racing to get in the race, and they wreck. And like I said, it was literally, you could see it coming into one, and they didn't wreck to the middle of 1 and 2. And JJ's just like, I don't know if he just locked the brakes up and just spun down the hill. And like, we're nowhere near the wreck. We're at the back of the pack, and he just spins down the hill into us. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess we're just going to crash back here by ourselves.
It worked out. It gave us an extra downforce, which is something we don't need.
We should have left it.
Yeah, we should have.
Truck race still, I don't know what the hell. Like, Kligerman wins. What a story that is. A hell of a race. It's kind of wild, a little bit like the ARCA. But Kligerman wins, and then it's like the most feel-good story of the year, and then we're all at the bar a little while later, and it's, okay, he didn't win. Hirschman was sitting there next to me, and somebody's like, hey, Hirsch, you just won the truck race, and he was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, we were in the bus, and we were pulling for Parker, and seen him do it. It's like, sweet. So I texted him right away, congrats, and went to bed. And I woke up, and I made my wife feel so bad because I was like, I opened my phone, I was like, oh, no. She's like, what? What happened? I was like, my bad. Parker got the huge. She's like, oh.
It's like he's such a nice guy, and it's 2 races now. What was it? Where was it? Was it the Roval last year where he got burned by a caution or something?
Yeah.
And lost that race, and then this year, now this, which they said they're going to appeal. Do you know? I mean, do you have any details on what they got? I mean, more on the technical side. I know they were too low. Obviously, everybody kind of tries.
Was there damage?
I don't think there was damage.
No, they were too low. It's kind of.
Is that something that you guys do going into the race? Obviously, you go through tech, and then are you trying to lower the car throughout the race to get it to drive better or be faster?
Well, the problem is with the ride height rule, you're doing everything to the truck to make it drive low, right? To make it go low as quick as possible and go around the racetrack. And there's so much money that's been spent on, Xfinity before the bump stops with the trucks and what they do now, that if you just miss a little bit, it's something's going to happen, a spring fail or something. The ride height rule to me is just so much in these days a waste of time, but it will cost so much money to change it. It's not, you can't just change a rule like that. It would cost, NASCAR doesn't change a rule and say, here's $100,000 because we changed the rule.
They don't do that.
It's $100,000 that we have to spend because you changed the rule because of something that happened. So, there would be a lot of easier things to do to not worry about that ride height rule, but it would change all the bodies. It would change the springs. You would have to just rebuild everything. So it's been a rule that's been in place, unfortunately, for many, many years. And something happened. They missed.
Yeah. NASCAR 101 with Tommy Baldwin.
Well, I was going to say, since Tommy's getting opinionated, should we start spot on, spot off a little early?
Yeah, before we get into that, obviously talk about pretty big change for you in the off season, becoming a dad. How's that been? How's that changed? How's that changed your mindset going? I did see a pretty funny Cat Williams meme the other day on one of your pictures.
Don't even get me started with my wife.
But how's that changed? Like how you approach this season?
No, it's been like after last night. I was bummed that obviously we didn't get the result that we all wanted and what we thought we would get. Which I think that's your first mistake, because going in there thinking you're going to win and deserve the win is wrong. But I didn't really think we deserved it, but just thought that was our best opportunity, right? And when that didn't happen, I walked in the bus, and Amanda, over the last, how long have we been together? 8 years, 9 years now. I've always told her, hey, when it's a bad race, let's just go to the car and we'll talk later. And so she's sitting there with the baby, he's wide awake, and I walk in and I'm okay. I'm like, it is what it is. She's just looking at me like, I'm like, hey, I'm good. We lost. She's like, okay. I'm like, chill, we're good. Oh, well. I said, new year, new me. We'll see how long that lasts.
It changes your perspective.
It does.
Until they get old enough to go, what were you thinking?
Exactly.
Right? And then you're walking out. Then you walk out with them. Yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah, then you just get
and then
pissed
they
off.
start calling you, what a dumbass you are. Trust me.
He's already giving me that look.
Enjoy the next 12, 13, 14 years. Once they get smart enough to realize.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, though. He's just a happy, chill baby. Both days on the grid for the duel and on the grid for the 500, just super chill. He fell asleep in my arms on the 500 grid. So, just awesome.
How do you like his first trip to Victory Lane being, was that Simba?
Simbad. That's Simbad? I don't know what that's called. He was good. You thought, in that moment with all the camera flashes, he would freak out. Maybe he was just overwhelmed. He didn't know what to do.
There was so much going on that he couldn't even...
But he... super chill.
Was that something you thought about doing, or was that just
in the moment? Spur of the moment. I grabbed him and I'm like, here we go. But yeah, that
Here's
was
my real trophy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that was cool. That was cool. Just going back to Victory Lane, having her and Bex there was cool. A lot of fun.
Sweet. We have another special guest joining us this week, Brendan Butterbean Queen. He's here to talk about his Daytona win. He's also our 2024 Cars Tour Late Model Stock Champion. What's up, Brendan?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Are you joining us from the Waffle House? I can't tell. It looks like you're in the car, but are you outside the Waffle House or?
Yeah, we just got done celebrating, so I'm trying to make my way back home. But no, I should have. That's what I thought about, just going and sitting in a Waffle House for this and making it look like that. But then I figured maybe I should have been at the Chili's, because I didn't think that through with the Chili's sponsored. So
You'll learn.
you know what? It's my first win, so people lay off me.
Yeah. Take a break.
The best part was the chocolate milk. We're going to celebrate with some chocolate milk. And I was like, what's he got, a chocolate milk sponsor? What is he doing?
Hey, tell him you can have chocolate milk on the car, and you're already getting a shout out. So,
you shout him out over the loudspeaker, and millions of people heard. I'm like, he's celebrating chocolate milk. Cool.
Yeah. Tommy.
Yeah, you can't get in much trouble drinking chocolate milk, so that's a good look.
Yeah, I have.
Tommy was wondering, what Waffle House did you end up in? I talked to you that night. You were at a Waffle House. Could you come back home, or was that Daytona?
We came back home. So we flew out, right after we got out of tech and the media center and all that. So we landed and we went to the Waffle House by the shop. So it kind of worked out. It would have been cool to go to a Daytona one, but you know how those deals work. The plane was waiting, so it's kind of hard to hold the plane up.
Yeah, for sure. Now, talk about the race. Obviously, going into it, you're a talented race car driver. You're with one of the best teams in the sport. Was it above expectations to go in there and win the race, or was that something you really thought could happen?
Well, first off, I felt like, the 28 guys, everybody at Pinnacle Racing, they're good everywhere. So the expectation is they can win at any place on the schedule, but it's just a lot of unknowns, and especially super speedway racing, you know how it can go. But I knew the car would be good, and I knew Derek up top would do a good job spotting, and I felt like I just needed to learn throughout the race. And I tell everybody, I didn't think that'd be where the first one came, but we'll take it.
Yeah. Break down your race, because like you said, you weren't really, Slawalich, I felt like, was in position, kind of controlling the race most of it. And then I looked up, and it was you and Helio up front running 1-2, and I was like, oh, man, it's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, honestly, I think being older, helps so much. Just, you can watch them, and they just drive crazy, really. The pushes are so aggressive, and you see the guy in front of you can't hold it, and they just keep doing it. And it's like, eventually the guy's not going to save it. And I feel like my late model racing, just being patient, and, younger me, I wanted to go lead everything. But now, I don't care if I lead one lap, as long as it's the last lap. That's all that matters. That nobody's gonna remember you led 80 of them or 79 of them. They're gonna remember who won. So
you said you're old. You're old.
Well, in the racing world, I feel old. So, but it's just, I feel like it took me a while to grasp that. But I think that's won me a lot of short track races, just putting yourself in position late. You can't win sitting in the garage. So I felt like the start of the race, I just tried to learn stuff that I could apply later in the race. That was the big goal, learn side drafting, learn how to manage my gaps and manage how I wanted to get a run on somebody, and keep the fenders on it. So we just really did a good job of that. And, obviously Derek Nealon helped me so much learning throughout the race, and then missed some wrecks. That was going to be the big part. You just had to survive, and, almost like the Martinsville late mile race, just had to survive and be running at the end. And, when it was all time to go, best case scenario, I had the teammate, Helio, on the back bumper, and, that was definitely a really good moment, hearing that he was behind me, and just had to make sure I blocked the right line there at the end and get her home.
Yeah, that last lap coming down the backstretch, I thought you might have been in trouble, because the 18 had backed up a little bit, and obviously I don't know it was how much you or Derek, obviously working with Derek, you guys pulled off a really good block down the back, and it kind of propelled you out where they couldn't really get back to you.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it was the 97. I still need to go back and watch the replay, but I think it was a 6 pushing the 18, and I think he stalled out beside Elio, which actually probably won me the race because it helped the 18 stall out too, because he didn't have anybody else pushing down the back. Derek talked me through that whole scenario, and obviously I was probably out too far looking at the replay, but I was dragging brake. I was trying to get back to him, but it was kind of crazy. Once our car got out front, our car was like really good. Like, you know, it's the first time we've been out front all day. Felt like we had a good car in the pack, just like I said, managing it. But man, that thing out in clean air was like, it wouldn't slow down.
How hard is that? It's got to be difficult. You know, you're leading the race, you get clear by 1 or 2 car lengths, and you just think, you know, in instincts take over. Like, I got to just, you know, keep the thing to the wood and get away from these guys. But it's like, no, you need to back up. You need to get closer to them. What?
Yeah, it's so Derek had obviously kind of talked to me about it before the race, and obviously watching Daytona races and Talladega, you know, as a real racer knows you can't get out too far. And I knew, like, and I was trying to watch the mirror, and he's telling me how many car lengths, and he's telling me back up, and like I'm dragging brake, and it's like I was just waiting for him to say, okay, you know, back to the gas here. But it was like, I'm not coming back to him. Like, I'm trying. So, you know, honestly, the last 8 laps there took forever. I was so nervous that there was going to be a caution and restarts and all that. But I think, honestly, I just told myself to just breathe. Like, no matter what happens here, you're leading at Daytona. It's a lifetime or once in a lifetime experience. If it goes our way and we win this thing, like, this is going to be amazing. If it doesn't, like, man, we had a shot. But those last 8 laps, I was trying to just breathe and focus and bring it home. And now, I mean, if I don't ever win another race, at least I can say I won there.
Exactly. You're always going to be a Daytona winner, no matter what. Congratulations on that. Yep.
Thank you. That trophy is sitting on the kitchen table, and
Was it actually full of a margarita? Is that
I wish. I thought about if I could cut the top off and make it work, but poor Nicole, she works from home down here, and she sent me a Snapchat a little while ago, and she's literally covered with the trophy next to her, can't move. And I said, well, you can't move the trophy. That thing's sitting on the kitchen table. It might not ever move. It's going to stay right there.
Talk a little bit about your team, your season. Steve-O is a buddy of mine, just a great guy that's kind of always been around. I know he was with Corey for a long time. I honestly didn't even know he was crew chiefing you until the race. I saw him celebrating on top of the box. So when I talked to you, I wanted to give him a shout out also. But just what's your expectations for the rest of the season now after obviously starting on such a high note?
Yes, first off, Steve-O, amazing person, great work ethic. I'm super excited that he's going to be my crew chief for the season. Super excited he got a win at Daytona. Those guys work so hard. I mean, I go by the shop every day and see the hours they put in, and I'm the lucky guy that gets to hold the wheel. They're the reason the car's fast, and they don't have to be putting that much effort in, and it's because they care. So super cool to work with him. And so our goal was to finish Daytona, and we didn't want to start in a hole, obviously running for this championship. And I think the main thing now is to just try to carry the momentum and keep the pedal down, while we're try to extend the lead out and just and build on some wins and consistent finishes. And I know everybody at the PRG is hungry to get the best repair.net Chevy back in victory lane. So I think hopefully we can see how many fingers we can get up in victory lane throughout the year.
How did the post race go with Helio? What did you guys talk about? I'm interested in his thought process of all went down from what the Indy car from what happened with the ARCA car.
So I didn't actually see him after the race because I was in the media center, and then I guess he went back to.
He was in the care center. He was probably in the care center.
Oh yeah, well that too. Yeah. I didn't even know. Put it this way, I didn't even know he wrecked until I got back to the trailer to leave, and I seen the car on casters, and I'm like, did he finish in the top 5? They're like, oh yeah, like my man got right reared after the race. I'm like, oh my, like I just, well, don't get me wrong, I believe it, but I couldn't believe it at the same time. But
he hit everything but the ambulance all weekend and ended up in the ambulance.
Bless his heart.
Wow.
Man, he couldn't catch a break.
Man, I felt bad, but so he was super awesome to work with. One of the nicest famous people I've met. Let's put it that way. That's what I said to him. But he calls me the queen because he thought I was a chick, and realized that I was not a chick because of the last name. And so he put me in his phone as the queen. And my Valentine's card from him that we had to do at the thing said "Queen" to the Queen. So I do have a Valentine's card from Helio. If y'all saw my tweet, so I guess he was my Valentine's. But
How did Nicole feel about that?
She was, well, there's an interview with Helio where he brings Nicole into it. Says, "I don't want to like make you mad being the Valentine, but." So we're all good. Everything's good at home, and no hard feelings. But Helio was awesome, man. I ended up texting him because I wanted him to know like how appreciative I was of him, because I don't win that race without him pushing me there. So I sent him a text, and man, he texted me right back, just super happy for me winning and happy for the team and thankful for the opportunity. And he was just saying how much fun he had, and obviously felt horrible about the post-race wreck, but it's not really his fault. So.
Yeah. The same guy that wrecked Helio, I think he was coming to celebrate with you. I looked over there one time. He just followed you down the front straightaway.
Oh, yeah. So I'm like, what, like, can I do a burnout? Can I not? I've never done one. Like, am I allowed to? Is it going to mess the car up? Like, I'm asking a million questions because I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I'm late model racing. I just go around backwards and pull her on in, and I never do a burnout because our stuff breaks if you do that. And so they're like, oh, no, we're bringing your flag. Like, you come over here and burn it down. I'm like, okay, not bad for my first burnout. And but before I got back to turn around, I'm like, why is this dude just sitting on the right rear? Like, I can't even turn around here. And I'm like, I have no idea this guy thinks we're under caution or what's going on. So luckily he got out the way and I was able to turn it around. But I didn't even know where victory lane was. I'm asking the official. I'm like, they're like, well, we need you to get off the front stretch. I'm like, well, I don't know where to go. So y'all gonna have to direct me around here.
Oh, man.
That's
well, we
great.
appreciate you jumping on here with us. Congrats, man. Obviously, you were on here last year with us, and we've always been a big fan of yours, and we'll be looking forward to watching some more wins and some more Waffle House trips this year.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me. Anytime. Hopefully I can keep it up so y'all have to have me back on.
For sure.
That's
no
the
doubt.
goal, yep.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
No,
Thanks, man.
thank y'all. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Want to get into a little spot on, spot off now?
Let's do it.
Joey Logano turns Ricky Stenhouse and causes a huge wreck with 15 to go that takes out Blaney, Kyle Busch, and other top contenders. Looks like the fastest car got in a hurry to get in the wreck. He created chaos. You got to know how wide your race car is to be able to find a hole to fit it in, says Kyle Busch. Spot on, spot off, Tommy.
Spot off. If you look at the replay, I think the 47 had a lot more to do with it than the 22. I mean, he was trying to cover both the middle and the top at the same time, and he got a little behind, right? He got enough behind that the spotter should have called it. I mean, I'm sorry. It just didn't have enough speed, and I think it was both their faults. But what is at that point? You know better than most, Bubba. At that point, the 22 can't slow down. What happens when the 22 slows down? Accordion effect, right? And then there's a wreck anyway.
Yeah.
So I just think the 47 just made a mistake and tried to fix it, and that's what really caused the problem, unfortunately. And you can blame anybody, but it's at the end of the race, right? The 47's trying to win, and 22's trying to push the 47 and get to where he needs to get to win. But I just think it was a little bit on the 47 that caused that.
I think that, I don't know, did you see the replay of this at all?
I need to see a replay.
You can bring the replay up, Alex. But, to me, I think it was more 50-50 for me. Like, I think that, Ricky makes a bad block,
Right.
a late block.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a bad block, but he gets the block done. Like it's a block. It's late. It's gonna stack everybody up, but he gets it done. And then Joey is just there's a half, 3/4 of a car hole there, and he just keeps trying to wedge back in there. When you know, again, racer IQ, know the guys you're racing. Ricky's not going to give you an inch. That's just a guy that we know is going to be really aggressive with blocks or trying to force it through the middle. And I just felt like Joey just kept trying to force it back in there after the block was made. And I don't know why Ricky kind of comes down
He leaves
here.
that open. He opens it, and it was too late. So watch the 4. Watch the 4.
Yeah, but he doesn't hit him until after they get together here.
Well, he ran into him. He got loose, and then he ran.
But
into
he
the
just
inside
keeps
first.
trying to wedge in
Yeah.
there.
I don't
like
think he could do anything. They were at that point. They were pushing him though. It's just a look. It happens. It's split
Yeah,
racing.
it's
but the 47 going high for that split second is what caused it.
Yeah.
Watch when he goes high. Right there. Right there.
He's gonna come up.
Yep, still up. Right. Yep. And he made that.
He's clear again, though.
He still gets the block.
But
He's
then
still
right there-
clear.
What would you do, Bubba? Would you let off the gas at that point if you were the 22? And what would you do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could pull up the 3 and the 23 earlier in the race. So it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and we backed out. Like you had to back out. Like I just feel like, like you said, nobody's going to lift at that point in the race. I don't know what this was. It was probably inside 10 to go or 20 to go, whatever it was. But it's just.
Oh, that's a good view. Go back that up.
I like having replays now.
Yeah.
Okay. So like
where's Joey going to go there?
Yeah, nah.
Like he's just trying. Yeah.
Ricky made the late block and kept him at bay, and then when Logano turns left again, that's when it's like, where are you going?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're going right into the right rear of your teammate.
Lost his red.
And I
hat.
get what you're saying. The floor's up his ass and probably pushing, but it looked to me like the
Blocked. You're clear again. You're clear.
Yeah, I don't know why Ricky doesn't come down. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Ricky needed to close that hole to the 12 better. Also,
Yeah.
like once he gets the block done, just come back down there and cover the 22 completely. But it was kind of like the 3 earlier we were talking about. Like he was going to block us, but then he kind of left us 3/4 of a lane.
You said ARCA car come through there? 40.
Was it really? Yeah, let it play.
Look at this ARCA car come through here.
Oh no! We're gonna.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Still.
Wait for it. And
There
send
she
it.
is.
That was one of those like when they're wrecking. All right, hurry up!
Yeah.
Like,
Gas
Get
up.
through it.
Right there, there's no hole.
No.
Like I don't know. I guess he pushed him off the bottom there.
Well.
Like Ricky also should have done a better job of once he completed the block, just continue to cover the block.
Get back down there.
It
He kind of ended up in no man's land.
It started with the 47 and it just got lost
It's
in
just-
there.
Didn't Kyle Busch get parked after that from NASCAR officials for not meeting minimum speed or something?
Oh no, I don't
was
know.
the wreck, right?
That was the wreck, but I don't know. We have. I don't know if you have audio here, but like he's questioning procedures.
Says you have 3 attempts to make minimum speed and that the race never went back green. I don't even think they know their own rules or procedures.
What he needed to do is understand the rules a little bit better. He was probably 25% right, but you guys know that that air system is just a crutch. I mean, when you have all 4 tires flat on a speedway, how low we run, we're on the stops of the shocks. Yeah. The car's not going anywhere anyway. So there's no more pushing. So if the car doesn't move, the car has to get towed. Mm-hmm. Last year, the car was allowed to possibly get towed to pit road, and then you were on a 7-minute clock, an 8-minute clock at Atlanta, and you were allowed 7 minutes in order to fix it. But now since it gets towed, it has to go into that area, the fixable area inside the
Garage,
pit area,
yeah.
the garage.
There's a designated area.
There's a designated area now that we all have to set up another pit area, spend more money on parts and pieces because now we got to have doubles of everything.
Did they give you money for that?
No, no money. And then
Donate a box.
The rule is if you stay on the 7-minute clock and you go out, you have 3 laps to make minimum speed. And you have a chance to go back. If you don't, then to the garage and make changes. You can't come back on pit road.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the garage and make changes, then you have one chance to go out and make on 3 laps. There, as soon as that car left, when you get towed right in the pit area, you only have one chance. Once you leave that area and you have to go out, you have 3 laps to make. It doesn't matter if it's on the caution. You can't come back in. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
So.
But did he get a chance to?
I don't even know if he came back out.
No, he went out on the caution, and they came back in because there was still problems. But still, you went back out.
So he needed to stay out, stay out, make minimum, then come back and work on it.
Speed. If he made minimum speed, then he
could do whatever
have
you
went
want.
on pit road and no more clock, no more anything, and work on the car. So he was a little bit right, but I would say I wouldn't think if the tow drivers had empty air in their bottles. I just think the car was flat, and you know the deal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Ryan Preece's car wheelies and then flips after contact with Christopher Bell. After the crash, he said, "When the car took off and it got real quiet, all I thought about was my daughter. I'm lucky to walk away, and we're getting really close to somebody not being able to." Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
That was a strong quote from Ryan. You know, we were talking about this in the group text last night, and Tommy said, it's kind of just a freak accident. But how many times can we say this is a freak accident? You know, like, and my question to you, Tommy, is does that car take off like that if it doesn't have an underbody on it?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
so is that going to be the problem the whole time? Like, this car, the old car, we would have jumped over that guy's wheel and been right back on the ground and been fine. Yeah. You can add all the roof flaps you want, but that was, we talked about, somebody said something about the roof flaps not deploying. That's for a spin usually.
It tried to deploy when he got a little bit sideways. The easiest way you can explain it to everybody is put your hand out the window and go like this and go like that and see the force. Well, that's exactly what happened to that car. When it turned a little bit sideways, right? Well, in the beginning, as soon as it got a little bit sideways, right?
Yeah.
There, it opened.
Yeah.
It did what it was supposed to do, but it was too late.
Over, yeah.
So now what's going to happen is NASCAR is going to put a full investigation on that, and hopefully we can come up with something. But he just jumped wheels. The 54 probably would have flipped at Bowman Gray if he was going fast enough too, right? It's the same type of situation as that. But it's again a freak deal that's going to make NASCAR dig into it and try to solve a problem.
I forgot who was on the inside of me, but Preece was the next car ahead, and so all I saw was his nose. And I made the comment under red. I was like, dude, he flew.
Yeah, flew.
Yeah.
And Freddie didn't say anything, so I'm like, oh God, is it bad? So I was like, is he okay? But from my perspective, I was like, how the hell? I knew exactly what had happened. He had hit a wheel, but like, he flew for so long.
Yeah.
It was just slow.
Yes.
The in-car view, I don't know, it was a 43 or 99, whoever in-car it was.
Oh, riding side by side.
He's just flying the whole, like, 3/4 of the
The
back
air
straightaway.
is underneath the car, and the 43's pushing him a little bit with his right front, so he's kind of carrying him a little bit further and further.
So this is not a funny deal at all, but Blaine and I will find something funny out of it. We were on the plane ride back together. If you can find that in-car for, I think it may have been the 99, and pull that up, Preece gets airborne and his left front wheel is spinning, and then all of a sudden it just stops.
Yeah. He stepped on the brake. Yeah, he stepped on the brake.
Oh, we laughed
seen
about
that.
that. It was just like, skirt. I don't know what that's going to do, bud.
Yeah, my dad did that one time. I forget where he was racing, but same thing. Like, he jumped a wheel at the intersection and was like flying through the air, and he landed and it just kind of like nosed into the wall. And I'm like, all right, you're good. Like, you can go back out. He's like, nah, we're done. I was like, what do you mean we're done? He's like, I broke the brake pedal. I was like, what? He's like, my dumb ass was standing on the brake pedal when we landed. It just snapped off. He's like, I guess I thought I had air brakes. I was going to stop in the middle of the air. Oh, man. But, I mean, it is scary, and I don't know. Is there any way that they're just never going to take this underbody off, right? I mean, I would assume.
No.
That's just, like I said, we always say it's a freak accident. I think it was Barry somewhere, got hit, and it just turned right over. Obviously Corey last year. Like, it's like, oh, it's a freak deal. It's like, well, it's a freak deal that's happened numerous times now. Yeah. So, like, there's got to be.
And twice to one of the same people.
Yeah.
We have so many variables that change our sport like any other sport. I mean, it's crazy because as soon as something happens, it's a change and it's a cost, right? Again, they're going to make some changes. We all know that after this. They're going to investigate that. They're going to help fix it. But it's going to be a cost to the teams.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what Michael's kind of fighting for.
Were we still running the right side rails that we put on last year? They're still on there?
And that worked. I can't remember which car got sideways. I think it was during the duels on Thursday.
Bowman.
Worked.
I think it was a Bowman.
It worked perfectly. You can see everything deployed the correct way. I was like, man, NASCAR did in my head, I said, NASCAR did a really good job because that really worked.
Watch this left front here.
Spin aside.
Hey, the brakes work.
Hey, the brakes are solid.
Oh my God.
Good to know. Ryan's okay. I didn't talk to him last. Did you talk to him last night at all?
No, I was
haven't
trying
talked
to give him
He got right out.
I hope he doesn't wake up with 2 black eyes again.
He looked good the
Yeah.
last time.
I texted him, and I won't repeat what he said. I said amen.
All right, moving on. NASCAR throws questionable cautions throughout speed weeks. You had the truck finish, the debris caution right after the fuel window opened, duel number 2, spot on, spot off. Bubba.
What would you prefer? Like, do you like? Obviously, everybody's complaining about consistency because we saw
That's
them.
what I was gonna say.
They saw them flip the switch way too fast on Thursday,
Yep.
and then obviously they never flipped it last night. So it can't be both. But like, what would you prefer? Because in my opinion, I know their thought process on Thursday is that you don't want guys they don't want guys piling into a wreck at the start finish line. So they think they're going to throw the yellow and everybody's going to stop.
Which came from, it came from previous wreck, but Newman's wreck was the biggest, right?
But like that's not going to happen in my opinion. Like I can tell you, we're coming to the checker of the duel.
I'm not. It's like, it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in the wood. Like, I'm gonna try to be smart, but try to still get a decent finish.
Yeah.
But if it's not in the cards, not in the cards.
It's just I think So what would you prefer? If I'm going to tell you it's going to be one way or another, like, do you want that yellow instantly, or do you want to know that they're going to give you a chance to race back if you can?
It's hard, right? Because like you look at the truck race, and I think it was Laletta and I talking about it in the hauler. It was like the last 50 feet, don't throw the caution.
Right.
But in the last 50 feet, that's when the Newman wreck happened. So it's like, well, how do we get through that? I think. That wreck happened behind the leaders too, right? Mm. Just like when you're penalized, every situation's different, and so how do you create consistency on that? They're in a tough spot because I didn't see the finish last night.
Yeah.
Did they throw a caution at all?
Well, no.
Okay, so they
raced all the way back.
2?
They wrecked
or into 3,
middle of the back stretch,
3.
basically. Yeah.
And they raced back to the checker.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the last wreck. I mean, they raced all the way back.
The easiest thing.
Yeah,
The easiest thing. I don't think it's that difficult. Is the field is frozen from the wreck back, right?
Yeah.
Let the other guys that aren't in the wreck forward of the wreck get to the checkered.
Yeah.
I mean, that would pretty easy fix, I would think.
Or stop making the white flag the final lap.
You mean just like end
If
the
caution comes out,
yeah, just
line them back up.
Keep going. Yeah.
I mean, it's the biggest race of the year.
Yeah.
It's the Daytona 500, and you want it to end that way.
I can't imagine that would be just.
I mean, they're going to tear some.
Yeah.
About
I'm
4
always
yards.
on here just saying, just don't even have green white checkers anymore. Just get rid of everything. Like,
I think they at the end of the day, by the end of the week, they were getting beat up so much.
Well, that's what I said to you earlier. I said I could have tweeted yesterday that like the apocalypse can happen on the last lap tonight, and they're probably not going to throw a yellow because they just got tortured all day on Friday for what happened on Thursday night. It's just. It's a no-win situation for them because, like, at this wreck, for me, like, if I'm arguing that the yellow should have been thrown, some guys took pretty hard hits there. And now you're not able to send help.
Well, they said they were able to deploy safety trucks.
And they can't, like they should be able to. Like once the leaders are by, there's nobody that mid-pack, so they should be able to roll. But that's always been their excuse in the past is we were trying to get safety workers out to those guys, so we got to throw the caution immediately. Well, now once the field goes by, just get them out there. Like
at the end of the day, if they threw a caution or if they didn't, nobody passed.
No, it wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have mattered. So they probably should have thrown a caution.
I assumed it was yellow. Like when I saw that big wreck there, and I saw I said, "Oh, Byron won."
You're gonna think the light would have came on right there.
And then I would have I assumed it was yellow right here, and then I looked down and I was like, "Oh, the flag stand is still green."
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
they're in a no-win situation, in my opinion. I don't like whatever they do. They're gonna get. It's like anything else in the world today. Like there's two sides, and everybody's gonna hate one side or the other, and they're just in a no-win situation.
Kudos though to all those spotters paying attention.
Yeah, to keep racing.
Because the first instant, because you guys have been.
sounds like Freddie would have told me, all right, it's over with.
You would have went from first to like 8th. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I heard you already and you were in the garage. So
Unfortunately, you never had that
I
opportunity.
didn't have to pay that
Yeah.
much attention at that point.
Yeah. He was
but-
already on a plane by the time I got out of the car.
That was the first time I saw that, Rick.
Jesus.
All right. Steve O'Donnell says NASCAR expects to move the championship race, quote unquote, in the future.
Spot on. Spot
I thought you
on.
were saying off. I was like, oh, what?
Spot on. I mean, we ran pretty good there.
All right. Where do you think where should
You
where?
weren't there, so
Yeah.
leave Freddie at
I
home.
take one race off and you start throwing.
Leave Freddie at home. We can keep it at Phoenix.
Where do you think they should move it to?
What's your ideal track?
Yeah.
Should be floating.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, what would you, if you picked one track, what would you be? Like, what would your ideal track be?
We got to look at where we produce the best races, and that's usually 1.5 miles with this car. And so, your Kansas, Charlotte's a good one.
Somehow I had a feeling you were going to say Kansas.
Kansas, not for us anymore. We just threw that whole
We just-
that whole setup out of the door. Where else? I mean, the 1.5 miles are in the name of the game right now for this next gen car. So I think it needs to be floating though.
Yeah,
sure.
oh, for sure. Like, and we talked about this, last couple of years on this show. Like, you were giving guys advantage. Like right now, you look at Penske. He's clearly has an advantage. They're untouchable at Phoenix when they get to the championship race. You were going to, Reddick was untouchable in the Xfinity car because he ran Homestead. Every year he's really good at Homestead. So like the idea to make it floating, I think, just opens it up to more competitive balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
agree with that.
I think it should be someplace warm,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
in
Fair.
November.
Agreed.
And I also think it's, NASCAR does a really good job of not just the race, thinking about the fans and sometimes us, right? We want to get out of there and go somewhere after that race. And the last championship race, of the year should be to be able to enjoy it, right? So I think the fans plan a nice vacation around it, not just to race. So I think that thought process goes into that,
Well, if we really want to get into it, we need to shorten it up by about 2 months, the whole season.
Yeah.
Then you're at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
then it opens up Pandora's
That would be
box.
ideal. That is very spot on. That is
Yeah.
never going to happen, but
Yeah,
it is
no,
very spot on.
I
We're
think,
going to add more races before we do that.
I think it Bowman Gray should be.
The championship
Oh,
race?
yeah.
Idiot. You're so stupid.
I'm all good with that being the All-Star race.
The
All-Star
All-Star race
race.
for $1 million? Oh, my God. Like, Danny would have definitely just blew Chase off the racetrack at that point. Like,
Yeah, but at the same time, though, like this is where I feel like in our sport, like when we and I'm guilty of it too. Like we go to Bowman Gray, and we know there's nothing on the line. But you run into me, I'm gonna be pissed at you for the whole season,
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
so you think Brad's
said
going to be mad
that.
at us for the whole season?
no, I had a nice conversation with Brad, and I thought it was nice. I don't know how he took it.
As soon as he walked away, he's like, F that guy.
Yeah, and so he was behind me the last 10 laps. I was just like, oh, here it comes. But, we go back to Bowman Gray having the All-Star race. Like, that race doesn't matter. It's $1 million, right? So, I mean, it's $1 million on the line. I got wrecked for it. Okay, sure. No, it's like you throw everything at them. So you're going to race him like an the next 10 weeks. And it's like, isn't this what we kind of want? Like, you want the beating and banging, you want that stuff. So, like, accept the show, which I kind of went into Bowman Gray. Like, this is going to be a show. You're going to get run into. So, okay, have at it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the $1 million that you brought up. I'll tell you guys a good story. So, got to see Matt Kenseth yesterday. You know him. You never see him until you see him, right? And it reminded me. He told me a story when he won the Winston Million back then. He got the check and he forgot all about it. So all of a sudden it's on somewhere in his desk or somewhere, and he goes, "Oh, here's my check." So he went to drive-through the bank. Deposit $1.123 million as check, and the lady was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I don't know what to do with it. So he went and deposited through the drive-through $1 million check.
Yeah.
That'd be some.
That would definitely
Probably
be
couldn't do that
something that you
nowadays.
could have done.
All right, we have a new twist to spot on, spot off this year, Bubba. So this might be fun
Okay.
for you since old Freddie.
Oh, God.
But you guys get to ask each other a question with no limits. Each of you.
Each of us.
So Freddie, you can ask Tommy. Tommy, you
Mine,
can ask
I'm
Freddie.
gonna
You
get-
know what page?
I'm
and
gonna
Bubba,
get-
if you have one.
I'm going to get Tommy's blood pressure going.
shit.
How the did you guys lose the tour race on Saturday? With the fastest modified I've ever seen at New Smyrna.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Unfortunately, unfortunately, we messed it up.
Who was driving?
I know the feeling.
Luke, my son. Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Was it the spotter?
No, it was he got a little nervous. I told him to pit once the caution come out because we were the only one with tires left. I knew we were going to take a beating to run before because I did right sides and swap lefts. It's weird on the pit stops. Everybody else took 2, come back in, put a left rear on. But no matter what I did is it still gave me good track position. If it worked, no biggie. But everyone else was out of tires but me. So when the caution come out with 25 to go, we were golden, right? I said, all right, come in, we're going to put tires on. And at the last minute, when the 5 or 6 guys in front of him didn't pit,
He freaked out.
He freaked out because they weren't pitting. He didn't realize that what was going on, and he stayed out. So yeah, so 6, 7 guys behind him.
Then he pitted.
6, 7 guys behind him pitted.
Oh, so
then we come in the second time. So instead of starting 10th, he started 15th or 16th or 17th, whatever it was, and he drove back up to 4th. But it was So it was only his third or fourth race there. But,
it was so fast. I love when it's like some of my cup buddies will go back and spot a modified race and they're not familiar with the pitch strategy or anything. You come in and like a lot of races for the modifieds are like a 4-tire race, but you put on rights and a left rear and then a right rear. Like you don't. So they'll come in and be like, we're putting 3 on, and the cup guy's like, what are you 3 tires? We're pitting for 3 tires
on the trike.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and now you can't do it all at once.
Yeah,
now you can only do 2 tires in one stop. Then you have to come back around, and I still haven't figured out why that is, because you have the same amount of people doing the same amount of things. But
just more often.
More of a pain in the neck. But
You got any good questions for either one of us?
not really today. I'm tired.
You tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know that was happening.
Cut Freddie a break.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm actually pretty good with you not asking any questions.
I don't have anything. Is there one that you're like, thank God he's not asking?
No, like just what the fuck?
I mean,
What the were you thinking? I thought,
No.
there was really, I don't think there was any real good storylines this week. I mean, a lot of things could have happened, right? Jimmy Johnson or Martin Truex might have not made the race, and that would have put heavy pressure on NASCAR about making that provisional rule for Helliot.
Surprised that's not a spot on, spot off.
Yeah, well,
We covered
we talked
that
about it. Like, we talked
on the
about
last
last
one.
week with Blaney going into it, but like, where were you? Where did you sit at with it? I know you probably had to answer this question.
Not to cut you off on
times.
that, but I sat there and thought about it when when I came over the radio and Homeboy was taking his time in the 3 versus the duel. He was hauling ass in 8. And I sat there and I thought about it more. And I felt bad for him. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I'm pretty sure he probably left that whole weekend feeling like a complete clown.
Well, and I feel like it was the total opposite of what it was designed to do. Like, instead of embracing this world-class driver and giving him a spot, like, just whether or not you agree with it, everybody just was like, this guy sucks. I'm like, he's still Helio Castroneves. He does not suck.
Right.
Like,
and I think about if roles were reversed. I'm not just jumping in the car at the Indy 500.
Right.
yeah.
I get a whole month of testing, another month of testing, and then another month on top
Rookie
of that.
tests,
Yeah, all this
everything.
stuff.
Yep.
And NASCAR's like, nah, come on in.
Ron Arker.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot now.
You're going to learn a lot. It's like, what are we doing?
And I thought he did pretty good in the ARCA race. Like, he got run over a couple times, but he was in position there at the end and didn't make any like stupid blocks or nothing.
At the end of, he's the one that got wrecked in the 500. He didn't wreck.
Yeah, no.
Right? He didn't cause the
He was,
wreck.
like, collected in something else.
And he was riding between 18th and 25th when all that happened. I think by then he was like, okay, I got the hang of it. I feel pretty comfortable.
I just can't imagine that, like, if he goes back to whoever, IndyCar buddies, and they're like, how was it? And he's going to be like, it was miserable. Like, all I had to do all week was answer questions.
I don't think so. I think he's going to say it was the most incredible thing. It's the craziest. I give so much respect to these guys, what they do week in and week out.
The media circus of it.
Right?
Like,
I think he's going to go, holy, this is hard.
Yeah.
What these guys do is hard.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's not used to running that close.
Yeah.
Right? They run that close that he's getting, I'm getting out, So to run that close and do the things and learn the thing, I think he's going to take it back. And again, no offense to him, because he didn't earn being there, but he's earned the recognition and accolades of everything that he's done, right? I'm not talking because I don't like him.
Yes.
He's not a great race car driver. I'm talking about the system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The system's
if
broken.
Martin or Jimmy did not make the race, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think with Corey making it, with everything he does with the TV and the NASCAR stuff he does, making it, and of course,
Almost felt a little rigged.
of
if you
course,
ask me.
of course, the junior, the Hendrick team, 40 team, making that
He'll
race.
never
Rigged.
call it junior motorsports.
The
It was a junior
slash-
motorsports cup entry for your knowledge,
Hendrick
sir.
team making the race.
Was the car built here?
Yeah, right.
We took photos of it in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, yeah. When it got unloaded from the
It
Hendrick
was
trailer.
here.
Yeah.
It was here
It's,
at one point. You're not gonna let that go, are you?
no,
Yeah,
it's
like
just,
we said.
again, that's another.
It's just another layer of everything in the sport.
Yeah.
But the system is broken for sure. I'm sure it will be revamped.
Well, I don't know.
I think that, like I said, we were talking about this last week, and or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and I said that's the only race that's ever going to matter,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're never going to have 40-something
Well, they
cars.
had Scott Dixon there.
Yeah. He's
walking
next.
around.
Yeah.
He's next.
And
You
it'll be like, but like I said, wherever he goes, it's probably gonna be a road course or something. There's not gonna be 40 cars, so he's not taking a spot. It's just if 500, it's gonna be the only one where that many extra cars show up.
They got what they want. A lot of people talking, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
That was
I
for
mean,
sure.
they're not dumb.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether it's negative or positive, they're not dumb. They're sitting back and going,
But they're going to be pissed about the negative.
Yeah.
If it comes with the inside. So
Yeah.
be careful what you say.
Yep.
All right, it's time for Reaction Theater, where fans can call in and voice their opinions from this weekend's race, and it's time to hear from them.
Did Blaney call in this week?
I guess we're
He
gonna
was
see.
supposed to, yeah.
We're gonna have to listen
after
for him.
last week, he's like, I'm calling in every week. He's like, I'm just gonna disguise my voice, and I was like, you're never gonna call.
He always says he's going to chew out Cindric after he wrecked him at the 2022 500. He was like, hey, man, good job.
Well, goddamn, I guess I owe you guys a lot of respect. I always thought you mother stood up there and didn't do but according to Chris Wright, you guys must tell them when to pit, when to slow down, when to turn left, when to turn right, when to shift, when to do everything, apparently.
For one, this was the wildest thing I think I've ever seen. I remember Corey doing this similar. Like I remember he got on the brakes and got on the splitter and slid, and I think it was a cup race. This is 5-6 years ago. But this guy,
I remember that. Yeah.
At least at that point, I think Corey was trying to slow down and just got on the splitter and couldn't slow down. When I saw these guys come off a 4, because we were in a single car pack and I was kind of hoping for a yellow, and I saw them come off a 4, and my man started he was hauling ass, and I was like, oh my God.
So did he have a brake failure?
No.
So according to some people on the roof,
no.
like he blamed it on the spotter, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know
Like
I
a
gave
Gary
you
Smithley of Kansas type deal.
I know I gave you a mark to use, but I don't think his spotter missed a mark by 600 feet or whatever it was. The rumor I heard was he wasn't supposed to be pitting. Like he wasn't even coming to pit. Like they weren't calling him to pit road, but the entire field in front of him turned down the hill, and I don't know if he just got lost and started following these guys and was like, "Oh, they're slowing down, and I'm not." And it was. Did you see the replay of it? I mean, I don't know. Like, it was.
You didn't see the replay of this?
No, I'm just
You
shaking
haven't
my
seen
head.
it?
I don't know.
I mean,
It was incredible.
I've never seen anything like
And then to
it.
get out and blame, I think he just royally up and didn't realize.
Spotters are the easiest to blame. They're so far away. And
You guys can't defend yourselves
exactly.
up there.
For me, like the one thing I will say is whatever they built the 91 car out of was, I don't know, like
Steel, apparently.
It was he hit that car so hard he's flying through the air, spun around, and the NASCAR came on the radio and they're like, we got to put transponder back on the 91. I'm like, transponder, you need a rear clip on the 91 probably. And sure enough, he just went driving by like nothing happened.
He wasn't even on DBP.
He just went underneath. He must have just went underneath him and jacked him up. He blew the quarter panel off of Truex's car. Here he comes. Pow! Like, how's that 91 car not just wrecked?
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh, God.
God, dude.
I mean, he don't lock up until it's pretty
No.
late when he locks
I
up.
think he was trying to get to the line good.
I mean, he did. He was
Hey,
P1.
P1
He was
entry.
P1 entry. Look at him coming. He's 100 back.
Dude, to be honest with you, this has nothing on the 40 car in that wreck that we watched earlier.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
look,
That's
little bit
nuts.
of right rear body damage and
Yeah,
a
I just think
transponder
he
apparently. He's good.
lost his
I think he just lost his bearings.
Yeah.
Oof.
And his roadmap.
Oh, goodness.
That's brutal.
All right.
I'll tell you what, I'm a proud Chase sexual, and I'm sick and tired of Ricky Spinhouse and Joey Logano going for the smallest pecker award on who can wreck everybody, and Chase getting caught up in the mix. Shout out Ryan Preece.
Shout out Ryan Preece.
What was his first thing?
He's a chase sexual. Well, they call it, and the Chase fans call themselves chase sexuals on here.
Jesus.
All right.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, you talk about putting two guys in the spot where nobody's going to give an inch. It's Ricky and
those two.
Joey.
And we were behind the 22 and in front of the 47 at one point in the race. And I was like,
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Boy, I tell you what, I feel bad for Joey Logano's old lady.
Oh, no.
That boy's gonna shove it in there whether there's a hole or not.
Jeez.
Ouch.
Ew.
Okay, next call.
No
Moving
comment on that.
Moving on.
Next.
Hard to believe another super speedway race and the same two needle get into a pissing contest and take out the whole field with 15 laps to go. If I were Kyle Busch, I would go pull out every one of Joey Logano's hair plugs and put Ricky Stenhouse in the world's biggest headlock.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Wow.
They're very
We've got some
At least-
angry
at-
folks.
This is
At least
awesome.
if he's a needle, it's probably not going to hurt if you shove it in. All right, go ahead. Next call.
Woo! How about that 23? Man, I've been waiting
Oh,
so
no.
long to see Bubba get a dual win, and it's just one of them things. It's so good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate that. That was a good night.
Yeah, that was
We blew our load on Sunday, so
that was a good start.
Freddie did. You didn't.
Yeah, you were fine. You were just listening.
yeah, that's right.
First time ever. Next time, don't listen.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it with Ricky Stenhouse. That guy couldn't drive a finger up his butt with somebody holding his wrist.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Couldn't drive a finger up his own butt with somebody hold. I don't think I could do
Holding
that.
his wrist.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
No,
think.
it's
I don't. The physics of
gonna-
that is not making.
Not going to
On
find out.
next week's episode of DBC, demonstrations.
Stenhouse, are you available on
Yeah.
Monday? We got to do
Yeah.
We
this.
need to work on this.
I think I'm sick next week.
You will be.
William Byron, back-to-back Daytona 500 winner. You know it, baby. My wife's on her period, so I'm going to go get me a foot job.
Where do you
I
guys
told-
come
What
up
are
with this stuff? What are you? I mean, are these the best ones you can find?
Dale is going to be pissed at this episode.
I told Bubba last night. I said at the end of that, I made like 3 wrong calls, but at the end of the day, the guy that I chose to cover won the race.
When you said that, I was like, I just went to bed. I was like, he's right. True. Yeah. Cover the 24. Look who won the race.
At the end of the day, I mean, though, you wouldn't have known
It's
after
just-
that fact what would happen.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
know.
the way, even like what I think is the bigger call, the biggest mistake I made last night, I think, was not covering the Penske cars, and they both got wiped out. So I
Yeah.
think that it's
all circumstantial.
circumstantial.
Yeah.
That's like I put in my debrief. Like we got fixated on 24, but this comes down to the what could have been if we didn't.
Yeah.
Like we could have been caught
We
up
should
in
have took
another
the higher
wreck.
percentage move and hoped for the best. That's
Yeah. But what's crazy is I went back because I was like, oh, the 24 won. Oh, damn, Tyler finished second. They were like 12th and 13th in line.
Yeah.
Man, am I glad that I've got a big-ass TV so I can watch this whole race on side-by-side. Commercial things getting ridiculous.
I saw a stat, and you guys will have to tell me because obviously I wasn't watching on TV, but they said like there was only 18 minutes of full screen commercials last night versus 46 minutes last year. So I mean does it really matter if you are you watching a commercial side by side for what is going to be a minute and a half, 2 minutes? Is that really going to ruin your viewing experience? Because I mean, I'd much rather that than go to a full screen commercial every 20 laps or whatever it is.
So are they complaining about
They're
side by side?
complaining that
Yeah.
they were. He said, "I bought this big TV to watch half the rate."
Oh, I see.
But
I
So
would
he
rather-
wants to bring commercials.
I don't know. Like I just know he just doesn't want
He just
commercials.
doesn't want it all.
wants.
He's just complaining.
He just wants. This is like the perfect example of you're never going to make everybody happy. Like they go to more side by side commercials where you're not missing anything, and that people still.
I think Karsyn has a quote for people like that.
Is this?
I?
He's just a whiny little.
Whiny little. He is a whiny.
Were you in a little bit of panic when whiny little was looking pretty good at some
No,
point last
not
night?
one bit.
I was back
No.
there in P38 with the Wobblers and SVG, and I was pulling hard for Corey. I'm like, yes, please get it done.
This is where you guys have me misunderstood. I would have been happy for him. I just think he's a whiny, but I separate that from
He's a nice
Everything
guy.
else. He's a nice guy. He's just whiny.
Even during the race, she said it on our group text.
No,
right?
I did not. That was Alex.
No, somebody said it, and I said, well, at least he has a plane ride home.
And that was true. And that was true.
You know, I almost said that at the beginning because you were like, I had 2 plane rides and then I had a motorhome. I can't say that line to you, but
for you.
Yeah, for
I got
you.
nothing.
if the shoe fits.
Lace that up and wear it. Look, I am who I am. I don't care.
You don't have a choice.
Love that.
True.
Don't leave me
Wasn't your-
hanging.
Yeah.
To leave an audio message 24/7, you can call our number at 704-802-9572, and we'll play the best ones each week on the show, so make them good. All right, it's time for Ask DBC, and you can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC, and we will answer the best ones. Carol from Tulsa wants to know, with NASCAR introducing the Xfinity Fastest Lap, how much of an impact will that have on race strategy and overall points?
Not much. I mean,
I think they should. I think they should get away with it at speedways.
get rid of it. Yeah, because I seen McDowell was the fastest lap, and I don't know who knows when it was. I'm sure it was just a big
It
PR
was
lap.
fast, too. It was fast.
I'm
yeah.
sure you just go back there and say,
Yeah, he
like,
rode in the back like most of the time to protect his car. But,
Yeah. But I mean, you don't see anybody like obviously you see Formula One guys come down pit road and put tires on and try to go chase the fastest lap. Like, I don't think
We're
it's
not
going to
doing
get to that level. You know,
I think the leader of every other racetrack is going to get it, right? In
Yeah,
the beginning
more
of a
likely.
race, right? I don't.
Well, we had there was a stat last year, which we don't remember, but I had it 3 times. I didn't win the race.
yeah, and we didn't. But
Not last year or the year before that.
and this mattered last year too. It just wasn't a point, but it factored into your your qualifying metric of wherever you were.
Yeah.
So I mean, it still mattered. But I don't think we ever really thought about it. Like
change a
you don't
thing.
really talk about it or change your strategy based on it at all.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our Show Hall of Fame, which is where we nominate someone each week, and the fans will go vote on who gets inducted each week.
Every time I thought that it was locked up, somebody did I was like, there's no way anybody's going to beat it Chandler. Like Chandler on Thursday night, like just cutting some, just chopping the hell out of whoever was Haley, I think, and wrecking however many cars it was. I was like, wow, nobody's going to top that. And then there was an ARCA race. And then there was Chris Wright. And for me, I got to give it to the dude that wrecked Helio after the checker that just had no idea what the hell was going on. I can't remember his name. Moyer or something. AJ Moyer. Just drives through the back of Helio after the checker, hooks him in the fence. Then he's like following Butterbean around the racetrack as Butterbean's trying to do his burnouts. This guy was just lost.
Which is a massive. That's my nominee as well. Is a massive safety hazard. Yeah. Like, what is ARCA doing? Like holy.
Just in general, like another one I had on there was, I think his name was Benison, something like that. The guy that spun out
Cody
early.
Dennison?
He just loses it off of 4, wipes out half the field. They go to do an interview with him, and it's the dumbest interview I've ever seen in my life, where he's just like, yeah, I don't know. The car got a light, and then it just hooked to the right. It was like, it's kind of fun. It was all, I'm like, you just wiped out so many cars. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if they've got to either, I think they got to do one of 2 things. Stop going to super speedways or really tighten up on their approval process, because I mean, not that these guys did anything wrong, but you got YouTube guys out there, you got people out there that are just really trying to be they're not really worried about the racing aspect. They're just trying to raise money and it's just, and maybe be more of a social media star. You can't just be out there racing at Daytona with these cars.
Like and you still had in that first wreck, the 03, the orange car, whatever, still did the old ARCA brake thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're wrecking and comes in and it's like, what do you do in real life when there's like a pile up in front of you?
Just head nail it.
Don't
Just
get on
see if you can-
77.
See if you can get rid of it. Like
It's so bad that's it's not even like the stigma, but it just happens every year. There's something that's so catastrophic, and it's like that would never happen on the Cup side.
Right.
No, unless 40 car.
Shut up.
True. Almost had that.
I'm nominating Chris Wright, 100%.
Yeah,
no breaks. How could you not?
Tommy, what was the dumbest thing you saw this week?
The whole ARCA race.
The whole ARCA race.
That was bad.
Are you just nominating
And
ARCA as
the
a whole?
worst part about it was on Big Fox. So, like, if anybody's tuning into that, that's like that's a representation of what we're doing. Like it was. That's what I'm saying. Like
that's what Denny had tweeted. Yeah,
really. Like it's just you can't like that. That's what I'm saying about the approval process. Like you just can't have these people out there.
It's a joke.
That don't like they go. All they do is go to the test. They go to the test, run around a couple laps, and they're approved. And it's like, okay, well, what are they going to do in a pack? And you saw the cars were a handful. And you saw people just lost it. They were just spin out and collect multiple cars, and now you got people piling in late. It's just
So I wanted to comment on the ARCA race. I wanted to send out a tweet, but man, there's history because I was in an ARCA wreck and one ARCA race at Daytona to get approved for the truck race.
Yeah,
and we wrecked lap 20. Wasn't my fault, but I piled in there. ARCA braked it. I don't think I did.
You didn't ARCA brake. We just got bounced around a little bit. We were like stacked up. Somebody stacked.
But somebody's going to say, well, what about this? So I was just like, you know what? Whatever. But that was downright embarrassing.
It was awesome.
Awesome. It was awesome.
It was kind of fun.
That guy.
Run it back.
That was that
kind of
guy in
fun.
Tennessee. It was awesome. That was great.
It's a little fun. Remember to vote on our Show Hall of Fame Twitter poll who you want to see be inducted into the Show Hall of Fame this week.
We should get that person on the show. Whoever wins
wins the
Get
on the show.
Get to come on. No, because then we'll have people trying to do dumb.
Then we might end up promoting
Cletus will be
All
out
right,
there. Cletus will be out there.
Your podcast isn't that good.
Cletus will be out there trying to do backflips, and it's like, I'm gonna hit a jump. He said he's coming to Daytona.
That interview was awesome.
it. Cletus in the booth was fantastic. I enjoyed that. All right, should we do some DBC picks?
Picks. Who won? Karsyn?
Did I?
That's what
I
it says.
did. Woo!
bull-
How about that? It was beginner's luck. We have a new twist this year, though. So since we have a rotating
you
guest,
win?
Bubba, you get to pick
She
as well.
finished 11th. We all
McDowell finished 11th, dog. You guys all wrecked.
Good pick, Blaney. 39th. Your guy finished.
Oh,
That's what I would have went with. Truex at a
plate race.
speedway.
What? Never.
All right, let's see.
Atlanta.
So I'm up.
Yep, you would go first.
Atlanta. I'll go 12 car.
12 car. Blaney.
I'll go Blaney.
I go next, huh? I'll go last year's winner, Suarez.
Ooh.
I'm going to do LaJoy.
Okay.
He's running again?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I think.
Watch out for that
He
car.
ran good. Tommy's got him on kill this week trying to win DBC picks.
I'm going to talk to him. Hey, man, you're stacking pennies now.
I think he's going to be cheated up. Like that crew chief's getting kicked out this week.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Seabell.
Seabell.
Yeah.
Oh, he was good there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All y'all for not picking me. Have a great show. I'm out.
You only get to do it once a year, so I got to save you.
Yeah,
I
you
can
we're
always
Take the
saving
person.
you.
We're saving you for Kansas.
Yeah.
I let y'all down for the last 2 years.
I
I'm
always
sorry.
pick you at Martinsville, and it usually works out.
Okay.
Let's talk about
you guys-
Martinsville.
What?
You want to talk about Martinsville?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about anything. The guy had a flat tire. I don't know what
right.
happened.
Yes.
But the
He loves to bring that up,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
the what are you expecting in Atlanta this week? Now it seems like every time we go back, it gets a little more racier. And,
We're going to look like the ARCA cars
oh no,
Oh Lord.
coming off turn 4. Like it's rough. It's wore out. Like we need practice there because somebody's going to be surprised. And I think that's the bad thing. Somebody asked me that, like about the new practice deal that we had for the 500. I think it's great. Because
I gotta talk about that. Go ahead, finish. I am so pissed off.
this is
when
funny.
we show up and our first laps on track are qualifying and somebody leaves a nut loose or a wheel falls off, whatever, it's embarrassing. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're trying to qualify in for a big moment, big race, and we got hanging off left and right. And so I think whether it's just 20 minutes, whatever, shake it down. But Atlanta is aging fast, and it's rough as and you go hold it wide open in qualifying, but now it's becoming who's man enough to do that because it's one of those tracks which is totally fine, but I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard one of these days.
I remember. I think it was either Bell or Ty busted his ass just running coming to
Running
green.
the
It was
top,
running the top coming to green.
Oh, it was
And
both of them.
Was it both of them?
I think so.
But yeah, that was. I did let Tommy go ahead. I'll give you the floor for your epic rant because I got the rant through text. But go ahead.
About practice.
All 45 of them up there are idiots. All the 45 spotters.
We had clean runs. We were fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It just, the most important practice, because it's the only practice you get, you want to be able to run by yourself to see what kind of speed you got. Some probably 4 or 5 other guys had different thought processes. But nobody up there remembered on how to send cars and get clean laps. And every
Can you
time
tell Tommy's cars didn't get clean laps?
every time I looked up, there's 3-4 cars. You know, the rule is you got to be probably 7-8 seconds behind, right?
Yeah.
And I bet you there wasn't one time. And I'm like, then I'm thinking, these guys, these spotters, 3/4 of them weren't even up there back then when we were doing single car runs.
We actually got a pretty clean lap.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
False hope, though. God damn, we slowed down like 2 seconds.
So all I heard in the garage area after practice was, I have no idea what I'm going to run. I never got a clean lap. No
Yeah.
Because the spotters are up there. Yeah, go ahead, go, clear. what you morons.
Who was spotting for y'all?
Chris, they both actually went on the second time. We both got clean laps. We kind of had an idea what we were going to do. They did fine.
Yeah.
Everybody else was
You ask him to drop names, and then he's like, they were fine. They were all right.
The guy that ended up from Orlando on our golf trip to Miami and 3 hours on Saturday night, he did
On
fine.
the train?
Yeah, and did an Uber to Miami and train back and still made golf the next day. He did fine.
We can't say his name. They went on a golf trip to Orlando, and one of them
46 of
Miami.
us go. It went and he got a little lost with my oldest son. All of a sudden, they all thought it was a good idea to go back to his place in Miami.
From Orlando.
Orlando. 2 in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah. So he got there, and he woke up and go, whoa, where am I? Well, put him on a train, took the train back to Orlando.
There's a train from...
Oh, yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a
he
hell of
made
a
it for the
story.
back 9.
Oh, that's why he didn't get a clean lap.
That's how you do
He
it.
got a clean lap. He was all happy.
Straight shot for him.
Lord.
All right. Well, we will see everybody in Atlanta. Tommy, what's your preparation like for Atlanta this week? Everybody. I mean, now you're going to cheat the 01 up, but
No, we're in good shape. We do all normal things this week. It's back to doing our normal, what we do each day here. You know, obviously it's a repetitive deal now from here on out, and we'll be ready.
Baldwin boys racing at all coming up?
Luke's testing today and tomorrow, and in 2 weeks we start the Smart Tour at Florence.
That's with Jack.
Yeah, both Luke and Jack. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah. Cars Tour.
Which one's the youngest?
Luke.
I think he was at the winter heat the other.
Yeah, him and Jack, they both raced.
I think so.
one
Yeah,
each,
because I was like, I had to leave, and I was like, one of y'all can drive my car. And I forgot which one was like, are you serious? I was like, I know your dad. So yeah, go ahead. Crash it. Sure. He was like, wait, are you being for real? I was like, sure.
That was definitely Luke.
Luke is trying so hard to run the late model race, I think this weekend at Cordell. And he's got a ride. And he's found tire money. I'm like, what about the crash clause?
Yeah.
He's like,
You got
what about
that.
it? I'm like, dude, you want to run all these races or just that race? If something wrecks, we're done, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I think I'm going to take my chances. The hell you are.
Oh boy.
Cars Tour. When we get rolling with the Cars Tour,
We get rolling on March 1st.
We're at.
Oh, that's
New
good.
River All-American Speedway in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
What a great racetrack that
Yeah.
place is.
I'm excited.
I
And
love
we're
that
taking the
place.
pros with us for the
Wasn't
first
there
time,
another
too.
track in Jacksonville?
You have Carteret, which is 30 miles from there.
No, there was
Jacksonville.
North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yeah. No, there was something. It's because that's
It's named 3 different names since
It
it's
has
the
been
same
probably
track.
been the
changed.
same place.
It
It's
was
probably-
it was Goodyear All-American, and now it's New River All-American. But way before that, it was something else.
Yeah,
It's
but
probably
what
the
a
same track.
great
Gotcha.
racetrack.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
mean,
flat?
Yeah.
Somewhat flat.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's-
I may have run there.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, we're taking the pros with us for the first time too, so I'm excited. Should be good.
Both places there. It's the Smart Tour runs a weekend there.
They do
Friday
both,
and a
right? The
Saturday.
beach weekend?
And last year, All American got rained out. We ran both races
Same
the
day.
same day.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's
wow.
so cool.
Yes.
Wow.
I want to
Throwback.
do something like that with Cars Tour.
Yeah,
but-
it was great. I hope more fans get to understand that's a fun weekend.
I've never been to Carteret either, so if they do that again, I'm coming with y'all.
Carteret's cool place. Flat and grip and good.
Sounds good. Well, it was good to see all the DBC fans out in Daytona this week. I might have ran into a couple hundred of them at the pub every night. But it was good to see everybody.
You went to
and,
the Oyster Pub?
Yeah, once in a while. Same thing. No bartenders.
So I was right.
Yeah. Well, I saw one guy that I recognized. That was it. I don't know what the hell. It's all new owners. One of them was really nice to me. Got me a table when I probably didn't need one. But it was good. It was a good weekend. Fun down there. Meg came down. It's Meg's birthday and
You guys
Valentine's
celebrate?
Day. So yeah, I thought she was gonna get stuck. I thought we went to dinner with Large and his wife and his daughter on Valentine's Day. That was an experience. If you know Large from Barstool, he's quite the character. But yeah, so that was fun. But what'd you like? Does Amanda expect anything on Valentine's Day now? Like it's right in the middle of.
No, we always go to this place called 63 Sovereign. and thanks to Chip Wow, he always gets his table there. And so we had to move it to
Just a different
Friday night. Because,
No, it was Friday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Because our team loves meetings, and we were supposed to have a meeting after practice on Friday night, but they were like, "Nah, we'll just do it beforehand." And so, I'm like, so we had a little late day V-Day dinner.
That's good.
Good.
Mine's this Wednesday.
You're been Valentine's this Wednesday?
Yeah, I looked at her Thursday, I think, or Wednesday. I said, "Look, I think she saw it in my eyes. I was wore out because Daytona in the day and the night, then shoot to the New Smyrna, and I'm like, look, can I get a pass till at least next week, next Wednesday? It'll be full blown." I said, "If I get you roses, you're just gonna sit in the condo and rot anyway. And can I just get a pass, please?" She said, "Okay."
You're so romantic.
One more thing.
Yeah, Dirty Mo's launching a new e-commerce store. They have, tons of apparel, cool stuff on there. For each and every show has their own apparel, really. So I thought that's cool. They asked me what I want. I actually want a teardown shirt more than I want a DBC shirt because sometimes you get some haters in the crowd every once in a while. But so DBC merch is out. It looks awesome. I saw the teardown stuff. They got a cool lemonade stand shirt.
Yep.
Poor Jordan got soaked on whatever day that was. He was out there selling lemonade and took a bath. But just really tons of cool stuff on there. Hats, shirts, plenty of other stuff to check out. So stop by shopdirtymomedia.com to check out it all.
All right, get the
Man.
Later.